We're going to make plays. We're going to play hard. We're going to do what we got to do. O-line, D-line, toughness, 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 toughness.
Hey, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast, your only commercial-free Ohio State football podcast. These guys were born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcast. Now, pour a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick.
What is up?
Right.
We are back. Holy shit, this season is flying by. It's already, October 31st, the Sunday Halloween night. Yeah, Jeff, we are jumping right into it. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have, I got to tell you, you might not be aware, but we actually have some winners for the Facebook t-shirt giveaway this week. We have 4 winners. 2 of them are related, I think, because they have the same last name. But we're not going to discriminate. As always, folks, you got to check out the supply store, thebuckeyecast.com. You got to check it out. Free shipping. And 4 of our friends on Facebook just won a T-shirt of their choice. Anything they want on the site, it's theirs. Those winners are Marcia, Thomas, Douglas, and Daryl. I don't want to give last names because some people don't like their shit out there.
I dig it.
I'm going to take a wild swing here and assume they're all from Ohio. What do you think, Jeff? Is that safe?
Safe bet.
Yeah.
I'd start there, sure.
Yeah. And then work your way out.
Well, good. Congratulations to them. That's awesome.
That's right. Good. Free T-shirts.
Good deal.
I'll be contacting you guys via Facebook, and we'll get you set up with any shirt you want. And, it's nice to get back to the people, because the people are why we're here. It's not just for our own egos, usually. But
yeah, I'm pro-people, anti-ego.
Right. Unless it works in my favor, then I'm definitely pro-ego, anti-people. But in this case, we appreciate everybody that contributed to the contest. And let's get into some bourbon talk. You got any bourbon working for you this week?
Nope. Well, finished off that bottle of Brothers Bond.
That went fast.
Yeah.
Get out my
it
face.
goes faster with ginger ale.
Yeah, right.
So, it's on and past. So, need to start. It's holiday. It's bourbon season. It's fall. I need to start stocking up. So I'll be on the lookout for some good deals.
This may be obvious, but I have to say it for everybody. But one of the best mixers this time of year, just some good old-fashioned fucking apple cider with some bourbon. Can't miss. You don't need a lot of it because apple cider is pretty strong anyway. Just a little topper, a little schvitz, and
Sure.
goes a long way because it's already spiced. It's like cinnamon and shit and all that. So yeah, definitely good for this time of year because cider's everywhere. I always get a half gallon and try and stretch it out as long as I can until it starts growing shit.
Right. It does have a shelf life though.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game. You try to stretching it to Thanksgiving.
Christmas, yeah. Christmas, yeah. Might want to get a new bottle.
It's a $1. It's a one holiday fucking juicer.
Yeah.
You're not stretching that to 2.
No. So yeah, let's get into
season.
What's that?
Cider season.
Yeah, that's right. So I had a nice little bourbon kind of couple days down in Sanibel Island. We went down there for a couple days this week in the middle of the week, and obviously hotel rooms are cheaper, Tuesday through Thursday. So had a new bourbon I never tried before. It's called Kentucky Trail. Obviously made in Kentucky. Not bad. It it was a heavier on the rye. It wasn't an official rye bourbon, but it wasn't bad. I checked it out online. It's a little pricier. It's actually like $45 to $55 a bottle, for a 750, which is a little bit more than most bourbon, most middle of the road bourbon, but it was pretty good. I would recommend it if you like something that leans a little heavier on the rye side. It's good. I would recommend it. It's lighter. It doesn't have like a great depth, like a lot of depth of flavor to it. It's not super sweet. I would say it's a little lighter and smoother. I want to say it was like a 100 proof, so like a 50% alcohol content. But it went down pretty well.
A little lighter, sweeter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I followed that up with some Johnny Walker Black. But the place we were having dinner at that night was kind of limited. Then this other place we ate at had the best bourbon selection of all my favorites. They played the hits. I had Blanton's, Eagle, Buffalo. I had a Buffalo Old Fashioned, which is one of my favorite drinks of all time. Nice and smoky.
Yeah,
if you got a bar that adds the smoke to it, got to get an Old Fashioned there. And what else? Oh, they had Stag Junior. They had.
Now, how do you know they offer? Is it described in the Old Fashioned? Because not all Old Fashions are have the smoke to them.
You just got to look
for
the smoker behind the bar. Kinda.
Oh, true. Okay.
And we've been there before.
Bar recon prior to ordering.
Yeah, we've been there before.
Yeah.
Just
knowing the place helps. Sure.
Yeah, and just ask them. Like if you go into a new place, hey, just say, hey,
is
how
your
do
bartender worth a fuck?
Yeah. Do you make a good drink or do you just pour shots? Not that either is bad, but I like an old fashioned when I can get it with some smoke. So, yeah, I hit that up, and that was fun.
Nice.
So,
nice. Getting away to Sanibel midweek is always a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm starting to carve a bourbon trail into the island, so I got a nice little setup going. I know my path. My car knows where to go. I just put it on autopilot.
Yeah, this shit just goes there. It's right, autopilot.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get into this Penn State game. Fucking nail biter Saturday night, and
Jesus.
I think we made our case for the reason those uniforms should never be used again, and probably should be burned at the center of the shoe.
It's like they made us stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
But it looks like red pants made us stupid.
Yep. Exactly, and just they made us Rutgers, basically. Made us do Rutgers things. So,
I think Rutgers look more disciplined. I mean, as far
at times, sure.
I mean, sometimes we look like we had the talent of Rutgers, but we more times than not look like we had the awareness and the maturity of Nebraska.
Ooh, that's a low bar.
Well, I mean, just constantly shooting yourself in the foot, fucking blown assignment.
Yeah.
How many pre-snap penalties do we have? 10?
I got 4 in the first half. Two false starts,
illegal
both on receivers, by the way.
Bullshit. Yeah, a lot of it.
And Wilson got one.
Yeah, and Wilson got one later, right. Frustrating.
Snap infractions?
Real
what is that?
Yeah.
Well, I never even seen that. It's better than a turnover, though. Saved our ass.
Yeah, Yeah, right? But, no, overall, very frustrating. I'm with you on the red pants. We don't need them. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. I think we need to hold a ritual this week in the shoe and just burn them all at the center of the field, and whatever happens to them from there. But
burn them shits.
You got what's your one big takeaway that you got from the game?
We were extremely sloppy, and it's the first thing. Actually, the first thing that really stands out to me is our running game was stopped a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. Well, we may only gotten 4, but we still got 4. We had a lot of 1s and 2s, and we had some big runs. Eventually, we knew I was saying all night, let's stay with the run game, stay with it. Let's take them, get them physical into the third, fourth quarter, and it ended up showing, with some big runs and then kind of sealing it. But we got stopped a lot.
Yeah. Especially in the first half, definitely.
Yeah.
They knew what was coming a lot of times, not just by knowing we were going to run, but it sounded like from what CJ said that the defense was calling out their plays a lot, and Ryan Day kind of reiterated that last night after the game and said that
what were they?
That's part of the game, though.
Sorry.
What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean. No, go ahead.
No. He just CJ said that the defense was calling out their plays pre-snap. So whether it was formation or something was cueing them,
Right.
And then Ryan Day kind of followed up later and said that's part of the game. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Look to me on a lot of those run plays in the first half, they were right, most of the time. So whatever the reason,
they had a guy right in the gap.
Yeah, and Ryan Day admitted that they have tendencies as an offense. They have tendencies, and I wonder if it's a stubbornness or just a we're gonna, kind of a almost blind, I don't know, stupidity. I don't want to say stupidity, but just thinking that we can tell the defense what we're going to run and we're still going to fucking be successful. And that sounds like Jim Harbaugh kind of shit to me.
That sounds like the kind of shit that gets you exposed in a national title game.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
They took advantage of all of our tendencies, anyways. But I'd like to hear what maybe some of, and her telling if we'll get this information out of Ryan Day, but what were our adjustments to them if they're guessing right on plays,
right.
Every two or third, second or third play, they're guessing right. Yeah. What did we do in the second half? Did we not, correct that completely, or did we just out execute them and had some of those big runs?
Right. Well, yeah, my one big thing was the red zone. 1 TD and 6 trips into the red zone. That's not acceptable. That's just disgusting, and that's something we had trouble with in the past here. Just in the last 2 years. We don't have to go back too far in our history to talk about red zone issues and taking field goals instead of touchdowns. That was my one big takeaway, just the frustrations in the red zone, whether it's bad passes or I would say play calling in a lot of cases.
I saw a lot of plays. I saw a lot of plays being ran where it didn't look like it was the best option for the kid. Like we didn't put the player in the best position to make the play.
Right.
But so much of our offense is the fact of what Garrett and Chris can do all the way down the field and how they can stretch the field. Mm-hmm. But you're not playing on a stretch field when you're in the box. When you're down in there, that's that tight quarters where a lot of our free flowing athleticism is kind of negated by the dimensions of what we're playing.
Right.
So that takes but do I think we could run 3 tight ends? In all kinds of formations out of that with 2 or 3 in the backfield, a million different combinations.
Right.
Maybe we do need to get a little more, some more like 2-point conversion type plays. Just working on those as more goal line plays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but a lot of disappointments. Our kicker looks great. He did exactly what he was supposed to. We drove down there, couldn't get in. He knocks it in.
Yep.
Constantly, we didn't have any of those misses that could have became big momentum shifts.
Yeah.
So overall execution was good coming into the kicking game, but
yeah, he's perfect actually on extra points and field goals this year. Ruggles.
Yeah, big confidence. Yeah.
Yep.
But definitely noticeable, worrisome. Yeah, maybe not worrisome, but concerning.
Concerning. Third down,
definitely a lot of self-evaluation needs to be done.
yeah, and this bleeds right into the third down conversions. 5 of 14. That's terrible.
Ugh.
You know, those two go hand in hand to some degree. You know, when you're down in the red zone, you're not converting third downs. Obviously, you're kicking field goals. You know, or you're going forward on fourth and not converting. You know, so that's another frustrating stat. The penalties, like we talked about, false starts. Snap infractions. Wypler, don't know what got in his head, but unfortunately we didn't really have a second option if things really would have gone south. Maybe Matt Jones, maybe. Harry Miller wasn't available again, and he probably was not going to be in game shape anyways after missing so many weeks of practice. So really frustrating. Steel Chambers getting thrown out. You know, was it third quarter?
Horseshit call.
Yeah.
Horseshit call.
They called him for a late hit on the field, right? They didn't call him for targeting. They reviewed it for targeting. They called him for a late hit because
because he hit his knees hit the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And even though Steele was already in the air, like launched himself when Clifford's going down, what the hell is he going to do, man? I mean, I understand you got to get your head out of the way. How are you going to do that in a quarter of a second?
You're not. Yes, it's the rules. The rule they interpret it. I mean, they enforce the rule the way the rule is stated. I get it, but
that's it.
God damn it, the rule is better. The rule is wrong. Like you can't be. Kids can't be getting kicked out of the game for that. Like that. He didn't. It's an ejection. And a fucking now he's going to miss another half.
Yep.
Or was that still in the first half?
No, it was second half.
No, it was in the second half. Yes, he's going to miss the first half next week.
Yep.
Just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I think he should have been in there instead of Taraja for most of that game. Taraja should not be 20 yards deep off the ball ever.
He makes a lot of tackles at 20 yards.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think Steele's playing. I think Steele. He looks aggressive as shit when he's out there, man. But he's going to continue to get playing.
Fast. He's fast at least.
Yeah. You see him flying to the ball, flying around. You know, obviously he's going to be dealing with the suspension for half or whatever, but. He's only going to get better. He's only going to gain, as long as he stays healthy, he's only going to gain more reps, more experience. You know, he might be able to help us more, the last 2-3 games of the season.
Yeah.
You know, getting into playoffs or Big Ten title game, any of that stuff. It's just he's going to have so much more experience going forward.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. He's got some eligibility left too.
So I got some stats I want to run by you here. We'll get into our CJ stats. 22 of 34, not terrible. Could be better. 305. Excuse me. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Most importantly, this is a huge stat to me. 0 yards fucking rushing. 0.
Mm-hmm.
Run the fucking ball, dude. Holy shit.
I remember at least 3 or 4 times. I'm like, there's nobody. You got at least 10 in front of you.
Yeah.
Just 10 and fall. And
he throws it to a guy for 5.
Yeah. And he's got 3/4 of his body past the line of scrimmage because he wanted to run, but he's like, no, let me sling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my major frustration with him. Otherwise, not many complaints really. I mean, when he did pull the ball down and decide to run, he scampered out of bounds 2 or 3 yards before the line of scrimmage. It's like, throw the fucking ball away if you can't make it to the line, dude. If you can't make it past the line of scrimmage, throw it away because obviously you're just killing us.
But last week, Indiana, I understand the talent level might be different, but it seems like there's games on and off. It doesn't, regardless of the talent. He's more in I don't know. I'm not really trying to come down too hard on the kid, but he's engaged some games and he's not engaged. It's
right.
Little lapse in awareness maybe. Versus last week. Last week he was so decisive, so like demonstrative in his motions. He knew where he was throwing the ball. Everything was accurate, clicking, right. And there weren't any like these little mental, I don't know, like gaps or not errors, but
just
like
indecision. I think.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of.
Yeah, just indecision, really.
Yeah. It's like he gets too much in his head where he's just reacting more.
Yeah, let it flow. Like just go. Yeah. So.
But it goes on. It's on and off. Some games are it's fluctuating a lot, but that could be just because he's fucking 19 too, man.
Oh yeah. I think it comes with youth and with experience.
We're riding the wave.
Yeah, the roller coaster, as Ryan Day likes to say, he doesn't want to ride. Travion, 28 carries. It says we thought this might be a heavy workload for him, and it sure the hell was. That kid's going to be sore today.
Sure.
28 carries for $150. Most of them came on 1 or 2 carries, 1 touchdown. Miyan, I don't know. I guess I didn't see or hear anything injury-wise with Miyan Williams, but he only had 3 carries for 5 yards. He did have 1 reception for 11, but I'm kind of surprised that he didn't get more action just to spell Travion, you know.
Yeah, it was odd. It was odd how that game kind of opened up like that, because we saw Miyan early.
Yes.
So, I don't know, maybe second series, maybe, but
yeah.
Then you looked up, started the fourth quarter, and like, Miyan Williams hadn't touched the ball in like a half hour, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to ride the hot hand with Travion, but which did work out, you know, with the big 91-yarder or not 91, where the fuck it was, 68. He got down to 68. The 1 yard line, 1 or 2 yard line, then they punched it in. But and then receiving pretty well spread around everybody. Once again, Jackson Smith, Jigba leads the team in yards, 6 for 97. He had a big 58-yarder. I was hoping he was going to get in the end zone, but got hawked down there. Garrett Wilson, my guy, I had Microscope on for last week, went 7 catches for 82, getting cheap shotted over there on the sidelines. Got tough. He's tough. Ruckert and Olave. Olave had that nice, I guess, what would you call that route? Kind of a corner that he scored the touchdown on. That was nice. 38-yarder. So everybody chipped in as usual. You know, it's never a one-man show or a two-man show. Gear the tight end, Ruckert. So, yeah.
Yeah, looking at the receiving there, Joe. Olave 3 for 44 did have the touchdown, but like for chunks of that game, he was missing.
Yeah.
And I don't know so much. During those same chunks, we were seeing Trey getting stuffed for 1 and 2 yard gains a lot. Mm-hmm. So they're playing the run. They're up in the box.
Oh, yeah.
You know, making effort to run.
Yeah.
But still Olave. That's not. I don't want to make this a shit on our team because we've only won by 9 points. I don't want to be like that. But there was chunks of that game where he was missing. I was like, damn, Olave hasn't gotten the ball in a while. And of course, we can't see the screen, when they're outside when you're watching on TV. But wondering, I was surprised he only had 3 for 44.
There were some situations where I see them bring a guy down in the box, like a safety, and they load up the box because they're expecting run, and it's probably early downs typically. And I'm like, okay, so why aren't we audibling out to something else? And it tells me that maybe, or most likely, CJ does not have audible powers yet. He hasn't been granted the audible, sphere of wisdom.
Yeah.
Right. And then vice versa. I've seen them spread out the defense entirely and go like they'll flex out the tight end and go 3 or 4 wides and running. I'm like, okay, so there's nobody in the center of the field after the front line from the D line. Why don't we audible to a run play? And again, nothing. We just run the play as is.
Right.
So I think it comes with time. I get that the kid needs experience back there, but that's kind of frustrating when the defense is basically telling you what they're going to focus on,
Yeah. We're going to take this away from you.
Yep.
Try to do something else.
Right. And I know it took Fields some time to get that ability as well. They don't just hand over the audible keys immediately from day one. So we'll see how that develops.
As they shouldn't. I mean, you got to be able to respect the ball. Respect the possession of the ball. But Penn State looked like the Penn State that I thought we would probably get before I saw the Illinois game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when we saw Illinois, we're like, what the fuck are we supposed to think? They give 357 on the ground to Illinois. What are we supposed to think?
Yeah.
We've been, clipping along at a high, executing highly, scoring our points, doing our thing, playing defense. So why would we not think it was supposed to be a blowout?
Yeah.
But that's more. I guess the Illinois game's probably more the outlier. Penn State's defense is for real.
Yep.
They, every game outside of the Illinois game, their defenses pretty much look the same. That's the outlier. How they can do that? How can they lose that? Have that lack of concentration against them the week before they play us? The classic, look over game. I guess.
Exactly. That's it. I mean, they probably practiced for us for 2 weeks and then forgot. Oh shit, we're not playing them this week.
Yeah.
And,
we're not. No, we're not going to Columbus. We're going to Champaign.
Yeah. Well, bright side, Penn State did show up to the right stadium this week, so
yeah.
Franklin got a pretty solid taste of who he was playing.
Was that video I saw? Who cares if it's a big house or the shoe? Ohio State owns both.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Defense, we got to hit the defense here, give these guys some love. They, like Ryan Day said, I tend to lean with what he said, that the defense won the game for him. My defensive MVP is Tyreek Smith, 5 tackles, a sack, a TFL, and a QB hurry. He came back with a fucking, just with a vengeance. He returned to the starting lineup, and really happy with him. Saw the Tyreek and Zach sandwich that caused the fumble on Clifford. Big man Cage goes 60.
Big boy.
Yeah. What do you think?
Scoring on defense, man.
What's that?
We keep scoring on defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not something you can bank on every week, but it's good when it happens.
Right.
Definitely needed it this week. You got a defensive MVP?
That's hard to pick against Tyreek Smith. I would probably. Looking at, I would have to go with Tyreek. He did look great. He looked healthy. I thought Marcus Williamson was it. I saw him around the ball a lot.
Yeah, he was blitzing.
Cam Brown had a good game.
Yeah.
I think Hickman, Ransom, I think they all played pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you.
Hickman had 14 tackles. Williamson had
he was
TFL. You can go.
I saw a lot of guys contributing. I saw Haskell Garrett make a few plays.
Right.
Teron Vincent. I mean, we did our job against.
Yeah.
I'll take their stat.
Williamson had the strip.
We gave up to him.
He had the strip on Kane, on Noah Kane, in the first drive, and Haskell got the recovery.
I think our defense played great. I mean, I don't know. Clifford has 361 passing. Yeah, he threw the ball 1 yard up the field. Yeah. I mean, he threw that ball vertical.
Well, they threw it 52 times, man.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the most of them went like 2 or 3 yards.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's gonna have a big completion percentage, and they're gonna catch the ball. And Dotson, the receivers are great. They catch the ball and they can run and get 5 or 6 yards. I'm fine with all that. So I knew the yardage was going to look weird, but defensively, against the run game, I thought we looked great. So, Tyreek Smith looked like he was he probably the best player on our defense last night.
Yeah, Well, when they only run for 33 yards, they got to get their yards somewhere. It was obvious that they weren't relying on the running game.
It's like they came into the game knowing, we're not going to get much here, I don't think.
Right.
Like, they didn't really try, and they got so many good running backs. It's amazing.
I don't know what happened to Ford. Ford must be out for the year, the 4-star.
Yeah.
But Noah Kane was a 5-star. I don't know. I
5
blame their
carries?
O-line, really.
Yeah, you're right. Their O-line is just off.
Yeah.
I think the overall defense played good. I mean, I don't think all 24 of those points should be accredited to that defense.
Right.
You know, sometimes your defense doesn't deserve to get some points scored on them, but they do. I mean, that's what it is.
So, our score predictions, I'll go ahead and take another dub. This is like old hat, really. I had 37-10. Pretty close. Shawn had 41-17. Jeff, you had 49-17. So,
I thought we were going to score, bro.
Yeah.
They scored 24. I had them scoring 17.
Yeah. Well, I put money on the spread at 17, and we weren't even halfway. We barely were halfway to covering that. So, yeah. I feel like I have a good finger on the pulse of this team as far as them versus their opponents, especially in this Big Ten play, because I've seen basically everybody they played quite a bit, and same going forward. You know, with Michigan State and shit. I watched all their games. So, but let's get into this Nebraska game. It's going to be hopefully a nice little break, kind of a recovery week before we got Michigan State. You know, not a bye week necessarily.
It's gonna be early. It's gonna be 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, right? I mean, so it's a noon game.
Local.
So it's 11 Central.
Well, yeah.
11 local time. Yeah. I don't know what that does to play in a late Saturday night game. At least they played that at home. I would think if they had a late Saturday night game on the road, getting back super late, or Sunday morning,
4 a.m. or 3 a.m.
and then having to lay at 11 a.m. next week, that might play a role. But we should be fine. There's definitely no excuses. There won't be any comments about the early game. There won't be anything like that.
Yeah.
But you never know what it does to college age kids.
Yeah, so we got a noon. It's a big noon kickoff. Not sure I would have called that, but anyway, Scott Frost coming in with his fourth year with the Huskers, 3-6 overall, 1-5 in the Big Ten. They just lost this week to Purdue, 28-23. Martinez had one of his worst games of his career. He went 14 of 29. Yeah, that's less than 50%. If I can do the math for you.
It is.
269, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a career high, which is somewhat surprising. It seems like he would have done that before, right?
Yeah, I would have had him down for 4 picks easy. I thought he threw 4 picks against us a couple times.
Yeah, at least. And
maybe it's his fucking brother. I don't remember. Between the two of them, they've thrown 4 picks before.
Oh, yeah, more than once. Offense is putting up 29 points a game. That's 65th in the country. Yardage, they're putting up 470 a game. That's 22nd in the country. 6.5 yards per play, and they're doing it almost balanced, almost perfectly balanced. They're 266 and 203 passing and rushing, so they're in the top 40. Play the hits. They got 7 returning starters on offense. Like I mentioned, Martinez, he's been there for 10 years. He's got 2,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 INTs, 4 of which, came in 1 week, so not so great. He's also their leading rusher. Probably should mention that.
That is a thing.
Thing or not a thing. 450 on the season with 11 touchdowns.
do they have a couple guys? I haven't really paid attention to their stat lines this year at all. Do they have a couple guys like with a couple hundred, or is it like him and then there's a drop off?
The
tailback has got.
Ramir Johnson is their running back that gets most of the action. He's got almost 100 rushes on the year. He's also used out of the backfield as a receiver a little bit. He's got like 14 catches and a couple touchdowns. So he's just behind Martinez in yardage, and he only has 4 touchdowns. But he's kind of their do-it-all, all-purpose back. Then their receiver, Samori Toure, has 29 catches. He's their leading receiver, 3 touchdowns, almost 600 yards. But he seems to be their big play guy.
One thing we do know about Nebraska, regardless of the yardage and everything that they'll put up, they move the ball, but they find a way to kill themselves and kill their drives consistently. Like, you can almost expect them to screw shit up.
Yeah.
So, what's the early spread on this?
Spread is 14. Let me see if I can get an updated spread right now. It was 14 like 4 hours ago.
So I say it's about right. I mean, we didn't look dynamic against a great defense, so I could understand some caution there with not thinking we're going to be looking too spectacular like we had against some lower level teams.
It's up to 15 now.
Up to 15.
Probably because I took that 14 earlier.
I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if that increases over the week, but I don't think it's getting up. It won't get back up to 18. I don't think.
Yeah, their defense is not horrible though. I mean, this is not the black shirts of old, but they're only giving up 20 points a game. Again, pretty weak schedule. 33rd in the country, by the way, at 20 points a game. Giving up about 350 on the total yardage. They got 10 returning starters. 6-year senior Jojo Doman, he's their do-it-all guy. He's got a couple sacks, an INT. He'll play outside linebacker or in the slot. He's kind of a 6'1", 230 fast guy. Almost a safety-ish body type. Their linebacker Garrett Nelson leads the team in TFLs. He's got 10. Deontay Williams leads the team in INTs with 4. And D tackle Ben.
They got 2 playmakers over there.
Yeah. Ben Still is PFF's third best interior pass rushing defender. So he'll get a push from the middle, but so most of these guys we've seen before on defense. I mean, these are. I don't know what they're going to do next year because most of these guys are going to be gone. So could be thin, very thin in the defensive room next year. But as of right now, they got a lot of experience and some guys that have been around and done shit. So let's get into our predictions here. Buckeyes by 15 is the updated spread. Over-under is 63. Remember, this is at Nebraska.
Yeah, 63. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go. I know that Ryan Day has a soft spot in his heart for his boy Frosty, and so I think he's only going to go 52 to 16.
52-16?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go 45-13.
Okay. Call the dogs off early, or are you expecting a tornado?
I don't know. I just expect us to not look like we did against Indiana and Rutgers. Where we would just from the jump take control. But I think it's in hand, and it's not like I don't think it's a slow start for us, and we just explode on them late. Just kind of a gradual, be in control all day, but just not have the major explosive production.
Maybe a sleepy game.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But I don't see Nebraska really moving the ball against us. I think our defense is making a lot of strides, looking real good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we win the turnover battle again. So
okay.
Yeah, 45-13. Yeah.
45. Okay. 45-13. Got it. All right. So let's dig into our microscopes. I'll go first. I'm gonna go Miyan Williams. I think that Travion's gonna get a nice little break. Side note here. Remind me to come back to this side note. So I'm going Miyan. I think Travion gets his 8 to 10 carries and gets out in the first half, and then it's the Miyan show the rest of the day. And even if Teague is back, Teague will get it, maybe split with Miyan. I don't know. Since Teague's been out 2 weeks, he might not be in great shape, game shape anyway.
Sure. I don't even know what his injury is.
Few do.
I mean, that's the thing.
If anybody does, please let us know.
Please. I feel sorry for I feel bad for the kid that, just battling all the injuries he has.
Yeah.
And then there's just more. They just keep piling up, it seems,
Right.
There's always something setting them back. But it'd be nice to see him get back. Crowley, they said, they made an announcement he's out for the season?
Not officially.
But I remember Ryan Day said something like it seems like a pretty serious injury.
Yeah.
To lead us to believe he's probably out for the year, but I can't say it.
Right.
So you're looking at So you're looking at Miyan Williams. He should be healthy. Hell, he didn't have the ball. Wasn't enough plays to get injured. So hopefully he came out of the game healthy.
Yeah.
You're right. I think Trey they may lower, set him back a little bit, but he still might, seeing how he hit, he might come in and be looking great after a 28 carry game. And they say, okay, but now we know he's okay at 28. Let's get him about 20 next game.
Yeah.
Or 18, somewhere in that range. And maybe Miyan only getting his 10, 12.
Yeah.
Or that could be switched, but that could be flipped, I think. But
so what do you
Evan
have
Pryor,
on your microscope on offense?
Microscopes. I keep jumping on that receiver somebody in that receiver room, and it just seems like we're missing 3 or 4 guys that don't even see the field. Some games, we're playing 9 guys. So I'm going to go with Luke Wypler. I'm gonna go with Luke Wypler running the interior of that line.
Okay.
I don't want to see a lot of 1-2 yard gains, getting stuff for negative runs. Problems with the snap, the false starts. I think that all starts with that quarterback center exchange.
Yeah.
When that starts getting haywire and starts getting shaky, then I think it spread to the rest of the offense. It seemed like, in that lack of concentration and everything. So you look for Luke Wypler to bounce back, get his head out of his ass, and just delivering the ball, keep the offense moving, just to keep it clicking, not bogging it down with the penalties.
Yeah. Flipping it over to the defense, I am going to get back to my side note here as soon as we're done with microscopes. Flipping it over to the defense, I'm going Lathan Ransom. He's showing me a lot more, especially last week. He had a TFL. He's flying around. I think he might be due for a pick. I think he's due. So I'm going Lathan Ransom as my microscope on D. Who do you have, Jeff?
It's a good call, Joe, because I don't see them throw the ball up to him too much. I barely see him in coverage, which means he's probably got his guy covered and they go off of him, because eventually you're going to get tested. But he gets a good pick. Lathan Ransom's been playing a lot of good ball. I'm going to go back to Cody Simon. We need him to take charge in the middle of that defense. He's not making. I don't think he's making enough impact plays. I don't see him making a lot of errors, or like completely guessing wrong, or
right.
but he's not making a bunch of. Like he's not impacting the game much from his position.
He did have that tip ball. He had a blitz where he pressured the quarterback on a separate play, but he did have a tip ball like over the middle. I think it fell incomplete, but he's just. I understand what you're saying. He's not making those big splash plays, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming for him. That's why I took him last week.
I do too. I don't get frustrated watching him. It's not like, why is he missing this play? It's not like a constant thing where you're seeing him really struggling out there. I guess for his sake more, I want to see him make those big plays, make those big, AJ Hawk, James Laurinaitis, type plays, picking, getting into your drop zone and picking off a pass because you read the quarterback right on a little tight end.
Or just reading the swing pass and hitting the guy out in the flat with no gain.
Big tackle for loss. Yeah, taking his legs completely out and jumping up, getting people fired up.
Right.
Linebackers flying around like that, making those plays. Darren Lee did a bunch of that back in 14 and 15. Yeah. Just flying around. It breeds to the whole defense.
Yeah. So my side note. Jumping back to the Penn State game, this was very important to me, and holding calls. And let's call it a lack of flags on Penn State's O-line for holding. It was egregious. Like, blatantly egregious. It was fucking outrageous. And I blame all those fucking refs in that game, not just the woman ref, even though it doesn't matter her orientation, but all of them were horrible. I don't even know if they called a single holding against Penn State's O-line. It was fucking terrible. I went back and watched the game today, man. Dudes are getting fucking just dragged down while they're blowing by guys. That's how bad Penn State's O-line is. Jesus, it was just fucking horrific. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, believe me, everybody that was watching the game with me last night was fully aware of my disappointment in those calls because they were egregious. They were noticeable. They were right up the middle, like right up the gut.
Yeah. Whatever that middle referee is called, that guy sucks.
He's called not watching his fucking job is what he's called. But yes, very frustrating, Joe. Very noticeable. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State was sending a tape to Big Ten for the league officials. There's at least 5 where it's, if you're not seeing that, what are you looking at? Because it's right the center guard quarterback exchange area. I mean, it's right there. It's right where everybody's looking.
Yep. Should be, anyways.
I couldn't believe that some of those were not getting called.
Yep. Yeah, that was so frustrating, and they're in key spots always. I mean,
a
10-yard penalty will kill a drive.
Yeah, it's like a 3rd and 7, and they're just getting drugged down. So you're looking at a 2nd and 17 or whatever.
Yeah. So, all right, that's enough of that. Just had to air that out. I think more for my own mental well-being than anything else. So, let's get into some of these Week 9 games. I wish Shawn was on the show. I'm sure we'll get his take next week. Shawn's MIA. Let's see. On this first
Halloween,
game,
he's out trick-or-treat.
Yeah, exactly. He's dressed up like I don't know. I don't even want to go there.
I don't even know what you're allowed to say anymore.
We're allowed to say whatever the fuck we want. Michigan going down at the hands of Sparty. We are Sparta. Sparty, 37-33. And if you watch that game, you saw it coming. It was forming so perfectly. I was live betting the first half, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just jumped the gun. I live bet the first half, totals and the spread, and I was too early. I took it into shorts, and then I ended up making it in the second half, though. because I in the first half I got Sparty at like plus 280 or something to win on the money line. I'm like, fuck yeah, Sparty's definitely coming back. I just had it a little early, a couple quarters too soon, but Sparty rallies from 30 to 14, down 30 to 14, and comes back and wins 37-33. Thing of beauty. Thing of fucking beauty. I don't even hate him. Jeff, what do you think?
I was watching that game with a dear friend of mine him and his son are diehard Michigan fans. So I got to watch the debacle of their psyche as well as Harbaugh's debacle of his offense at the same time. Quite exhilarating. I had a feeling this party was coming back on him. Very nice to see. But it was a good friend of mine. I did have to kind of tread a little bit lightly. He did enough burying of that program on his own. I did not need to pile on him one bit. He wants to see that freshman quarterback. I know that. I don't think he's alone in Michigan land. I think they need to go with that freshman quarterback.
I don't know if that's the issue. It definitely wasn't the issue this week.
I'm not saying it's the issue. I'm just saying what I saw from that freshman quarterback. I want to see more of him. He has he adds a dynamic to the offense. I'm not saying he's the issue either way. But I was surprised by the amount of points that were being scored early.
Yeah,
Michigan hitting that big pass play first second play of the game,
90-yarder.
Right. And then both teams started scoring. I mean, obviously, then they got a lead on Michigan State, but Michigan State was moving the ball. They were moving. They kept moving the ball on them, and there was a few questionable calls in that game too.
Sure, it's Big Ten. I mean, all conference refs suck. Big Ten are probably top of the list. SEC's up there, close 1A, 1B kind of scenario.
Right. But yeah, hell of a game.
Yeah.
Because I thought Sparty was playing better football most of that game, even though the score wasn't reflecting it.
Right.
But I guess that's what a running game will do, man. You be able to run the ball like that dude Walker, you're going to be in the game.
K9.
You're going to have a chance. Man.
KW3. Yeah, almost 200, 5 touchdowns. Other than that, that Michigan State offense is not anything to worry about at all.
It was him. Was it Rager? The receiver?
Naylor.
Naylor. What's the other guy's name?
Reed.
Okay, that's where I was getting it. Reed. Legit talents. Yeah. Those guys are a handful. Which they can make plays. If you're slacking on them, they can come over top of you and make some, jump balls, that kind of stuff. But obviously, you're going to force that quarterback to make those throws. You're going to load up to the start to stop Walker.
Yep.
I mean, first and foremost.
Yeah, I don't care if you have to go man coverage on the back end.
Yeah. I mean, you take your chance on those 50-50 balls with Denzel and Cam and them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to have to load up to stop Walker because you cannot let that dude go like he was going against Michigan.
Exactly.
Michigan's got, I think that number 55, I don't want to mess his name up, but Ojabo?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, he's good.
He's legit.
Yeah.
He's legit opposite Hutchinson. I mean, they got some legit players. I mean, the running backs look good.
Yeah.
I think they run hard.
But they don't put up major numbers. I mean, Haskins led the team with 59. Corum had 45. So, and I don't know. I haven't dug into Michigan State's defense yet. I know they're good, but
they've been playing inspired. I think Michigan's defense does look better than Michigan State's, but overall, Michigan State's got a better team.
Yeah. Well, if you can't stop the run, that's what happens, like we said. So that was a great game to watch, down to the wire. A great game that was not worth watching. Iowa at Wisconsin.
I'm so happy to say I did not see one down in that game.
I went back and watched the condensed game. Somehow they found 17 minutes worth of footage worth watching in the condensed version. So
their condensed game was 17 minutes.
Yeah. On
That's
YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
perfect. Perfect horse's
yeah,
ass.
27-7 Whiskey just got up early, and shockingly, Iowa's offense could not come back. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it's just the thing. Like when it was 20-0, I said to my friend, I said, Wisconsin shouldn't be 20 on anybody.
Yeah.
Like how are they scoring 20 points against what Iowa? That's what surprised me more than Iowa being shut out was they gave up 20 to Wisconsin. Because I thought that game might have been like a 10-7 game, or like a 9-13 or something.
My highlight was that both teams had 7 punts each.
We're gonna have to play one of the Puckers for the championship too. You know that?
Maybe Minnesota wins out. It's their division, so.
Or Minnesota or Whiskey.
Yeah.
The fucking oars.
So yeah, there you go. Georgia at Florida. Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville. Georgia does what they do.
It wasn't close. I watched that game. Not close. Not close at all.
I'll tell you one place where it was close on the stat sheet. Total yards. Georgia 354. Florida 355.
Really?
Yeah. And you know why? Is because Georgia got their 3 offensive touchdowns on turnovers.
Yeah.
Here's their 3 touchdown drives on offense. One play, 11 yards. One play, 36 yards. 2 plays, 46 yards. Offense done.
The defense is just hand given their offense points.
Yeah, so the rest of their points were field goals and a defensive touchdown. That's the team you can almost bank on a defensive touchdown a game. You can almost factor it in if you're a Vegas, point or a line setter. So Texas Tech at OU, didn't figure this to be much of a dogfight. I mean, Texas Tech fired their fucking coach in the middle of the week. But Caleb Williams went off, 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. Bigger note on the stat sheet for me was Spencer Rattler, 5 of 5, 67 yards and a touchdown. Perfect.
When he came in the game, I said, "Holy shit, what's he doing in there?"
That's what he was saying.
I said he didn't. I thought he had left the program already.
No.
I didn't know if he was. I didn't know if he was still dressing. And I said, you never know. Lincoln Riley, he might have a really good relationship with Lincoln Riley, and Lincoln might have said, "Hey, I need you. Let's finish the season. Get me to the end of the season before you make any decisions." But he can't be happy about coming into the game. Although he looked energetic and stuff like that. He's generally excited. But that's got to mess with your psyche to be that kid, that height, and now he's doing mop-up duty, at the end of games.
Yep.
But, it's a testament to Lincoln Riley to keep him engaged. We could have seen, like we did over in Nebraska, with the McCaffrey kid. He's like, "No, I'm not playing. No, I'm out of here. I'm leaving now. I'm not. We're not sticking up for shit." And
that's the thing is, Lincoln Riley kind of fucked Rattler because he pulled him like in his 5th or 6th game. So the kid came in the
4 games. Yeah, that's right.
So he really fucked him. Anyways, let's finish up with UNC at Notre Dame. Like I said last week, they keep hanging around Notre Dame, 44-34. Both teams put up over 500 yards total offense each. And Kyron Williams, fuck, that's like the only guy worth watching in any Notre Dame game. 200 yards and a touchdown. I think he had a 90-yard reception too. No, his longest run was 90 yards, 91. So.
Yeah, that game was definitely a back and forth. Touchdown here, touchdown there, 3 points, 2 points. Yeah, I wouldn't obviously was really dialed into the Buckeye game, so
Yeah.
I was just kind of glancing over at it periodically. But
Yeah. So let's look at
Sam Howell was supposed to be a Heisman candidate,
Right.
number 2 quarterback in the draft. All these people come in with all this hype.
Yeah.
We have no quarterback. There's no quarterback class this year.
Well, I didn't make that hype. You guys made that hype up. That's my best Mac Brown. So week 10, folding into week 10 here. Let's run through a few games. We don't need to go deep into some of these. It's pretty, like on paper, like I say this every week, it's kind of a lame slate. Missouri at Georgia. Georgia's favored by 39. That's probably how that's going to go. LSU at Bama. Bama's favored by 29. That's probably how that's going to go.
They might keep it. I'd say 25. Maybe LSU covers.
Okay.
25.
Tulsa at Cincy. Cincy favored by 22. Game day is going to be in Cincinnati. Can't say that very often.
On the backs of Tulsa's game with us?
Apparently.
Is that the only hype for Tulsa, really?
I don't know, man.
Because Tulsa's got a couple losses.
Well, Cincy struggled with Tulane last week.
Well, those pretty-ass uniforms, man. How could you blame them?
Yeah.
Aren't those beautiful?
Yeah.
The green wave with the the turf.
Well, now they got the Golden Hurricanes coming to town.
Right. I just because Tulsa put up numbers against us, but they've lost some other bad games. So it's not like there's any hype behind them. I'm surprised game day would pick Cincinnati. It must be that shitty of a week if they're skipping LSU, Bama, and going to Tulsa, Cincinnati. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Name a year that would ever be the case. Right.
Like I said, there's not a lot of good games on this schedule this week. What else? We got Michigan State. This spread jumped out to me, and I jumped all over it. Michigan State at Purdue. Michigan State favored by 3. Interesting.
That's your game day game. That should be it right there.
At Purdue?
Yeah. They're gonna bring Rinaldi back to do one more little fucking story about a ball boy. And my God,
the Michigan State's fucked.
Yeah, exactly. You just count the L right now. Say, you don't even need to play the game. They just aired that shit.
Yeah.
Half Indiana just saw that.
So that spread really jumped out to me. I don't know, maybe they think Michigan State is a little beat up after the Michigan game and maybe coming, kind of coming off a high. And
a little let down, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sleepy Terre Haute?
Is that what they call her?
Teams get caught up there. Teams get caught up in there.
Yeah.
They've had some big wins. They've also had some bad losses. I mean, that weird shit between them, Iowa, and Wisconsin is nerve-wracking. How they all lose to one and beat the other.
Yeah.
But
this game, Navy at Notre Dame. Notre Dame favored by 19.5. Seems a little dicey to me.
That does seem big.
That's a lot of points. I know Navy's not as good as they usually are, but they'll hold the ball, and you're going to have limited possessions.
Yeah, it's hard to say Notre Dame is really clearly 3 touchdowns better than a lot of people.
Jack Cohn doesn't inspire you?
Jack Cohn couldn't inspire a paperclip.
Oh. Last one, Oregon favored by 7 at Washington. That one can get a little dicey, I think.
Could it?
Road dog, or home dog, by 7.
You can't put anything after Oregon's performance against Stanford up there. You can't put anything. I would be shocked if Washington keeps it close, though. They're not good.
I know.
They're not anywhere close to an average Washington team for the last 10 years.
No, I agree.
It doesn't seem like, anyways.
I agree. I just.
But yeah,
I think they're.
Oregon.
Yeah, I would be interested to see them on the road. So, and they're ranked 7 now, so they might be reading their own press clippings too.
I would stay with, honestly. I think Oregon's inconsistent enough that I would stay away from them. I wouldn't go near those bets. 7 points on the road at Washington, a rival.
Yeah.
Do they have any? Does Washington have any pride? What's their give a fuck level? You know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Probably
I would stay away from Oregon game.
They're 4-4 on the season, 3-2 in the Pac-12, so they haven't quit yet.
Well,
So, last note of business, our CFP top 4 if the season ended today. Jeff, what's your top 4 look like?
Ooh. Georgia clearly stays 1. They got Cincinnati looking 2. Ooh. I'll probably go top 4 right now. Georgia, Cincinnati, even after looking shaky. They're undefeated, so under that notion, I'm going Oklahoma 3. 4. Man, I don't know. Are we 4?
Who'd you
I
have
don't know. No, I got Cincinnati at 2.
Okay.
Oklahoma at 3, and I'll go Alabama at 4.
Okay. Buckeyes first one out?
First one out.
Okay.
They're gonna. I think with Buckeyes' remaining schedule, I have every intention of them performing, to the level to get in. Like they have the winning. They have the wins ahead of them.
Yeah.
So, the first one comes out Tuesday night, right? First ranking.
Yep, this Tuesday.
I think that's how we see it.
Okay.
Maybe I think the people might give Cincinnati. They might put them at 3 or 4 just so they can keep them towards to push them out later. They might not have them as high as 2. So,
yeah.
But I don't know if there's not a clear number 2 then. If you try to keep Cincinnati at 3 or 4 at the end, because you're going to bump them out if teams keep winning. Mm-hmm. There's not a clear number 2. Well, I guess it's Oklahoma, but they don't look like the number 2 team in the country.
No. I had them out of my top 4 last week, but now they've re-entered. I'm going Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Oklahoma. So just kind of reshuffling the deck chairs there.
Yeah. Now, is that what you feel, or what you think the committee's gonna do?
No, is that
your prediction?
That's if the season ended today, those are the best 4 teams that I've seen. I will not put Sparty in my top 4 yet because they are very limited at quarterback. I will not put Oregon in there because they're just very limited, period.
Yeah.
And Georgia's obviously number 1. Bama's I'm going to put Bama in my top 4 until they prove me otherwise. I mean, even taking a loss doesn't do it for me. Same for Ohio State. Oklahoma takes a loss. Now you're talking something different. They're probably going to be out of my top 6 if they take a loss.
Because they've looked so shaky
Yep.
in all their wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their defense. It's their defense.
I think I'm predicting Ohio State to be out of the top 4 when the committee, when they announced Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Now, if I had my pick, do I think we're one of the 4 best teams in the country? Yeah, I do. But I think we're going to be out Tuesday night. Yeah. But I think clearly, wins over Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, we're going to be clearly in. We're going to be clearly, I would think, probably 2 or 3. I don't think we're going to be the 4th getting squeezed in at the end.
Yeah.
Regardless of how that Bama Georgia championship game would shake out. Us winning the table. So I'd like to see Cincinnati stick around, but they're going to have to do a lot more convincing winning than struggling with Navy.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck if it's going to take Oklahoma to lose for sure, probably Oregon to lose again, or whoever the Pac-12 champ to be 2 loss.
Yeah.
They're going to need both of those things, I think, to get in ahead of them.
Yeah.
Even 1-loss Oklahoma, Big 12 champ, they might have a better resume. The undefeated, Cincinnati might have a better resume. So you might be looking at Cincinnati, Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, top 4 at the end of the year, which would be crazy.
Definitely.
Wow.
So, all right. Well, great show. Shawn, we miss you. I love you.
Yeah, buddy, get better soon, man.
Facebook T-shirt winners, please be looking out. I will message you through Facebook, and we'll arrange your prizes. As always, folks, we appreciate you listening. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. Jeff, thank you. See you next week.
See ya.
Yep.
All right.